Nokizaru Group. The first organization on today's list is the Nokizaru Group, a notorious mercenary unit made up of 5 highly skilled ninja. Unlike most shinobi, the members of Nokizaru have no families, no village affiliations, and no loyalty to any nation. They exist purely for one reason: contracts and money. If the price is right, they will hunt anyone, anywhere. Nokizaru gained recognition in the underground world of shinobi as elite trackers and assassins. Because of their specialization, they were often referred to as a shinobi-hunting organization. Their reputation was built on efficiency, coordination, and terrifying adaptability in the field. Their most well-known mission involved the 4th Raikage, who at the time infiltrated the hidden village of Suri along with 2 subordinates. During this operation, the Raikage's team stole several secret techniques belonging to that small village. In response, Suri hired the Nokizaru Group to retrieve the stolen scrolls and eliminate the intruders if necessary. Each of the 5 members possessed a distinct and complementary skill set. Some specialized in high-speed movement and advanced body flicker techniques, allowing them to pursue targets relentlessly. Others mastered shadow-based stealth, capable of erasing their presence completely, even from powerful sensory ninja. Another member excelled in fire and water release, providing overwhelming mid-range pressure during combat. One of the most dangerous members, however, specialized in insect-based ninjutsu. This shinobi could manipulate a variety of insects for reconnaissance, surveillance, and assassination. Among these, the most terrifying were explosive insects. These bugs could be implanted directly into an enemy's body through ninjutsu without physical contact. Once inside, they remained dormant until the target used chakra. The moment chakra was released, the insects absorbed it and detonated violently from within. During their pursuit of the Raikage, Nokizaru successfully implanted these explosive insects into him and his subordinates. When one of the Raikage's men attempted to use ninjutsu, the explosion triggered instantly, leaving him critically injured. Even the Raikage himself was forced to fight cautiously, unable to freely use his overwhelming power. What made the situation even more dangerous was Nokizaru's mastery of shadow concealment. Despite the Raikage's immense strength and experience, he struggled to pinpoint their positions. They attacked from blind spots, vanished into darkness, and controlled the battlefield through fear and precision rather than brute force. Any organization capable of pushing the 4th Raikage into such a desperate situation is no ordinary group. Nokizaru may lack grand ambitions like Akatsuki, but their sheer effectiveness proves that in the shinobi world, skill, preparation, and coordination can threaten even the strongest cage. And all of your comments have been the driving force that keeps me creating content and delivering unforgettable moments. We are aiming for the milestone of 50,000 subscribers. If you love Naruto, want to explore hidden details, exciting theories, and enjoy top-quality videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button now, and let's reach 50,000 together. Don't forget to comment about your favorite character or any ideas you'd love to see in the next video. Your feedback is truly valuable. Hansa Organization. Next on the list is the Hansa Organization, a covert shinobi group originating from the Land of Wood, a small nation bordering the Land of Fire. Despite its size, the Land of Wood once held strategic importance due to its political positioning, especially during the era of the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. At the time, the Land of Wood sought to establish a formal alliance with Konohagakure. To test mutual trust, Hiruzen dispatched Might Guy along with several Leaf Ninja to conduct a diplomatic exchange involving confidential scrolls. On the surface, it appeared to be a standard intelligence transaction, one meant to solidify cooperation between the two sides. However, the moment Guy handed over the scroll, the leader of the Hansa organization revealed their true intentions. Instead of returning proof of alliance, they presented an explosive tagged scroll, attempting to assassinate Guy and wipe out the accompanying Leaf Shinobi in a single move. This was not diplomacy. It was a carefully planned betrayal. What Hansa did not anticipate was Konoha's countermeasure. Hidden nearby were 2 ANBU operatives, Kakashi Hatake and Itachi Uchiha. The moment the ambush was triggered, Kakashi and Itachi struck first. With no hesitation and no room for escape, they eliminated every Hansa operative involved. The mission ended instantly, leaving no survivors to report back. Despite this devastating loss, the Hansa organization did not disappear entirely. Years later, remnants of the group resurfaced during a far more unstable political period. After Danzo Shimura became acting Hokage, he traveled toward the Land of Iron to attend the 5-Cage Summit. Along the way, surviving members of Hansa attempted one final act of revenge against Konoha. This time, however, there was no battle. Through sheer intimidation, manipulation, and psychological pressure, Danzo dismantled them completely. Without lifting a weapon, he erased the last traces of the Hansa organization from history. In the end, Hansa stands as a reminder that not every dangerous shinobi group seeks world domination. Some are driven by mistrust, desperation, and vengeance, and in the shinobi world, that is often more than enough to seal their fate. Zabuza Momochi's failed coup organization. Next on the list is Zabuza Momochi's failed coup organization, a short-lived but meaningful rebel force born during the brutal era of the Hidden Mist Village under the 4th Mizukage. Zabuza fundamentally opposed what the Bloody Mist had become. The village's obsession with cruelty, purges, and inhuman traditions went against his own code. At some point, he attempted to assassinate the 4th Mizukage, but the attempt failed. Marked as a traitor, Zabuza abandoned the village and became a rogue ninja. However, leaving the mist did not mean abandoning his goal. Zabuza swore that what he lost would one day be taken back by force. His ultimate objective was clear: return to Kirigakure and overthrow the regime through a coup. Instead of joining an existing criminal organization, Zabuza chose to build his own faction. He operated independently, gathering resources and preparing for his comeback. Unfortunately, his organization was extremely limited in scale. In reality, its only real heavy hitters were Zabuza himself and his loyal partner, Haku. Worse still, the Mist was actively hunting him, making recruitment and expansion nearly impossible. This led to the fateful mission that sealed his downfall. Zabuza was hired by the crime lord Gato to assassinate a bridge builder named Tazuna, whose project threatened Gato's control over trade routes. Assuming the target was unprotected, Zabuza initially sent only 2 Chunin known as the Demon Brothers to carry out the assassination. What Zabuza did not anticipate was that Tazuna was being guarded by Kakashi Hatake and Team 7. The Demon Brothers were defeated almost instantly. Upon learning of their failure, Zabuza realized the situation was far more serious than expected and chose to intervene personally. With limited manpower and no stable funding, Zabuza devised a new plan: eliminate Gato himself and seize his wealth to finance the coup against the Mist. It was a desperate but logical move. Unfortunately, events spiraled out of control. The confrontation with Team 7 escalated, leading to the tragic battle where both Zabuza and Haku were killed. In the end, Zabuza's organization never truly had the chance to grow. It collapsed not because his ambition was weak, but because time, resources, and fate were all stacked against him. His failed rebellion stands as a symbol of resistance against the Bloody Mist, and a reminder that even powerful ideals can be crushed by reality in the shinobi world. Janin Organization. Next is the Janin Organization, a small but extremely dangerous ninja group made up of 3 brothers: Renga, Giga, and the youngest, Ruiga. They were infamously known as the 3 Tolerant Evils, not because they were merciful, but because they tolerated absolutely no one except themselves. Despite being blood brothers, they trusted no one, not even each other. Their bond was fragile, driven more by mutual benefit than loyalty, and that inner rot would eventually be their downfall. What made the Janin Organization especially terrifying was the nature of their ninjutsu. Rather than relying on brute force, their techniques were deeply tied to environmental adaptation, allowing them to dominate battlefields that suited their elements. Renga, the eldest, specialized in manipulating air molecules. By rapidly condensing moisture from the atmosphere, he could generate water attacks instantly, often obscuring vision at the same time. He could also create ice mirrors to observe enemies from a distance. Under intense sunlight, Renga could ascend to extreme altitudes and form a massive natural lens, focusing sunlight into a single point to generate lethal heat capable of incinerating opponents in seconds. The second brother, Giga, fully embodied his name. Since childhood, his body had been saturated with iron, turning him into a living magnetic core. This allowed him to wield magnet-based ninjutsu with terrifying efficiency. In iron-rich terrain, Giga could manipulate attraction and repulsion at will, crushing enemies by pulling metal toward them or pinning them in place with overwhelming magnetic force. Anyone dragged into such an environment was essentially already dead. The youngest, Ruiga, focused on water release, but with a strict limitation. His techniques only functioned in areas with existing water sources. However, within those conditions, Ruiga was devastating. He could draw water directly from underground veins, creating violent water-based attacks, and even summon sharks within the currents. Victims trapped by his jutsu would either drown or be torn apart from within. The Jainin brothers eventually set their sights on the Vegetable Kingdom, a fertile land famous for its cuisine. With the help of corrupt and greedy officials, they staged a coup and assassinated the ruler. Ironically, someone who had once helped Tsunade pay off her gambling debts. This act made them enemies of Konohagakure. Their end came swiftly. Ruiga was isolated by Naruto Uzumaki in an area with no water and defeated easily. Giga then coldly murdered his own brother, sealing Ruiga inside magnetized stone to reduce competition. Moments later, Giga himself was defeated by Hinata Hyuga, whose gentle fist disrupted his chakra flow, causing him to uncontrollably attract iron and bury himself alive. Renga attempted to manipulate Naruto into killing his brothers for him, but Naruto saw through the trick. Using the reflection from his forehead protector, Naruto redirected Renga's solar refraction attack back at him, ending the Jainin organization for good. In the end, their greatest weakness was never Konoha, it was each other. Underground Gold Trading Organization. Most people in the ninja world are familiar with hidden gold transactions, and this underground market is exactly where Kakuzu frequently operated. Known simply as the Gold Exchange, this organization functioned as the central hub of the shinobi black market. Targets were publicly listed alongside bounty prices, and as long as someone delivered the corpse of the marked individual, the reward would be paid. No questions asked. The influence behind this organization was terrifying. They were bold enough to place a bounty on Asuma Sarutobi of the Hidden Leaf, which alone proves that the power backing the gold exchange rivaled even the Akatsuki. It wasn't just a criminal network, it was an institution. Even someone as greedy and ruthless as Kakuzu knew better than to break its rules. He never killed a target to steal the bounty for himself, because crossing the gold exchange meant inviting consequences far worse than death. When Konoha finally traced the market's activities, they uncovered 5 separate transaction points and immediately dispatched 5 ninja squads to shut them down. But by the time the Leaf Shinobi arrived, 3 of those locations were already completely abandoned. This proved one thing. Information within the gold exchange traveled faster than any village intelligence network. What made the organization even more unsettling was its structure. Even if managers at individual transaction points were captured, they showed no fear of retaliation. That suggests absolute confidence in the system protecting them. Through gold-based exchanges, countless powerful individuals were connected, secrets were traded, and information was extracted from the remains of fallen shinobi. In this market, corpses weren't just proof, they were currency. To this day, the true leadership of the gold exchange remains unknown. No mastermind has ever been revealed, no inner circle exposed. Its core members have never stepped into the light. Unlike Akatsuki, which openly declared its presence through violence and ideology, the gold exchange ruled from the shadows, silent, efficient, and untouchable. In many ways, that makes it the most dangerous organization in Naruto. Not because of flashy power or world-ending plans, but because it proved that control over information and money can be just as deadly as any forbidden jutsu. Jashin Cult. Next is the Jashin Cult, a shadowy organization obsessed with the concept of immortality. Rather than a traditional religious group, it functioned more like a dangerous experiment disguised as faith. When Hidan was still part of the cult, he wasn't treated as a chosen warrior, but as a test subject. Other followers used him as a living guinea pig, subjecting him to brutal rituals and experimental practices. Through these experiments, Hidan gained his infamous abilities, a curse-based technique that linked his body to his victim, and more importantly, a form of functional immortality. His body could no longer die through conventional means. This made Hidan both a heretic and a walking proof of concept, the cult's first successful experiment. Despite this apparent success, the Jashin cult remains one of the most mysterious organizations in the Naruto world. We don't know when it was founded, how large it truly is, or even whether it still exists in an organized form. Most importantly, the identity of its leader has never been revealed. There is no confirmed figure at the top, no clear hierarchy, and no known headquarters. In Boruto, the cult's shadow appears once again through a man named Ryuki, who claims to be a follower of Jashin. His appearance suggests that the ideology and possibly the experiments of the cult may not have fully disappeared. Whether Ryuki represents a continuation of the original cult or merely a distorted remnant remains unclear. Ultimately, the Jashin cult is terrifying not because of numbers or military power, but because it proves something far more unsettling. Immortality in the ninja world might not be divine at all, but artificial, experimental, and deeply inhuman. Watari Ninja. Second to last on the list is the group of wandering ninjas, often referred to as the Watari Ninja. In the world of Naruto, these shinobi exist on the very bottom rung of the ninja society. They have no village to call home, no banner to fight under, and no protection from any of the great nations. With nowhere to belong, they drift from country to country, surviving however they can. That is exactly why they are called wandering ninjas. Because they were never formally trained by a hidden village, these shinobi lack access to proper ninja education. Instead of learning complete systems of ninjutsu, they resort to infiltration, sneaking into other nations and copying techniques wherever possible. Unfortunately, most of what they learn is shallow and incomplete. Their knowledge is fragmented, lacking both refinement and real combat depth. A clear example of this is Nagare, one of their members. He managed to imitate a technique similar to Gaara's sand manipulation, a powerful ability associated with total control and defense. However, despite the resemblance, Nagare's version barely reached even 1% of Gaara's true strength. It was imitation without mastery. Some members even relied on artificial methods, such as using mechanical projectors to summon creatures instead of forming proper summoning contracts. As a result, most of the group's combat power was extremely underwhelming, especially when compared to trained shinobi from established villages. The leader of the group was a man named Hoki, who planned to seize control of the land of birds. Unfortunately for him, his ambition far exceeded his strength. His plans came to an abrupt end when the group encountered Leaf Village ninja, including Kakashi, Naruto, Tenten, and Neji. Being weak was bad enough, but facing Konoha's elite made their defeat inevitable. Special Ninja Organization. The final position belongs to a special ninja organization that appears in the story and can be considered the couriers of the shinobi world. At first glance, they may seem similar to ordinary messengers, but in reality, they operate on an entirely different level. These ninjas are responsible for nation-level correspondence, delivering confidential messages between hidden villages and countries across the shinobi world. Because their operational range is extremely wide, they face constant danger during their missions. Unlike normal messengers, whose jobs are relatively safe, these ninja couriers routinely put their lives on the line. Ambushes, assassinations, and battlefield crossfires are all risks they must accept as part of the job. This is what truly sets them apart. The organization itself is completely secretive. Its members never use real names, communicating only through code names, and they are equipped with tools such as binoculars to observe and assess situations from a safe distance before moving in. Their discipline is absolute, and their professionalism is unmatched. What defines them most is their unwavering dedication to their work. Their ninja creed is simple. The mission is not complete until the message is delivered. No matter the cost, no matter the obstacles, failure is not an option. As long as the client's letter has not safely reached its destination, they will not rest. One memorable incident highlights just how serious their role is. Due to a mistake, Naruto accidentally sent Jiraiya's manuscript Icha Icha Paradise to two countries that were actively at war with each other. Even though both Naruto and Jiraiya tried desperately to retrieve the letter, they failed. Once a delivery is accepted by this organization, it cannot be undone. The group is also extremely united. If one courier encounters danger, a single smoke signal is enough to summon immediate backup from nearby allies. Even Jiraiya, one of the legendary Sannin, showed visible caution when dealing with this organization, proof of just how formidable and respected they truly are.